Those two cannot be together. You humiliate them in front of your class by calling them the wrong thing. Because I used to talk a lot, which can you imagine? And I know that's one of those things I tell you in school when you're like, oh, some special seats for special people. Hey everybody, it is the first day of the new semester. And for you guys that teach high school and do 2 semesters with 2 different groups of kids, then you know this is like the first day of school all over again. What's funny is ours has ended up falling on a Friday, which means I'm wearing jeans on the first day, which is a little strange. And I'm excited because I have all 1 level of English. So I have 3 classes and then 1 prep period, all English 2 this semester. The funny part is it's 3 different sections. So I have an honors, I have an academic, which is what I call it, just a regular English 2 class, plain old regular, and then an inclusion class, which has EC students and regular academic students together. So essentially, I have 3 different classes that I have to prep for, even though they're all English 2. Some days will be the same, some days will be very different, especially with my honors class compared to the other 2. The inclusion and the regular class will do a lot of things that are the same, but I've chosen a couple books that are different for them. So we'll see. I have asked a couple people about my class list, and it's interesting. I have a few kids that are well known throughout the school for behavior problems. So, you know, fun stuff. But it's fine, because I'll show you a little bit what I have already done to fix this situation. I just want to show you kind of how I get ready for the new semester. Just a few things that can kind of get your life in order. Number 1, please don't wait until the day of to make your copies, because first of all, everybody is down there right now making copies. You know what copies you need for your first day and probably your first week early on. You can go ahead and make them like before it's time, and then you don't have to fight everybody, because I'm going to tell you what, the Rizzo machine is full right now. We have a couple copiers, a couple of them are broken, a couple of our printers are broken. So since I got mine done ahead of time, I don't have to worry about any of that today and stand in any copying lines. So that's my first recommendation. The other thing is, and I can't show you this because it's my roster, but print out your class roster. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, number 1, our Wi-Fi and things seem to go down every time on the first day when you don't know anybody's name or anything. So I print it out, which I'm very tech savvy. I love the computer, but I print it out. And I take, for the first week of classes, paper attendance and then put it in the computer. Also, I have and I don't know if you can see it. Can we show this without showing people? Okay, so I have a column that says their name that's printed by the computer, and then I have a place type preferred. This is because, I don't know about you, but high school students never want to be called what's on there, which is fine. I'm totally fine with that. But if you take it on the computer, you don't have anywhere to write that down. So, like if it says Benjamin and you go by Ben, then I can write under preferred Ben. I also use the preferred thing to write down like a pronunciation guide. If a kid's name is, if I'm struggling to say it, I have them say it a couple times and then I write it down phonetically or however. I just like having the paper copy for the first week. Also, it makes it super easy if someone gets added to my class to just jot them down at the bottom. and also super easy to cross people out that get removed. If too many changes happen, then I print a new copy, but for the most part, by the first day, everything is gonna stay pretty much the same unless there's like a mistake. So, paper copy of attendance. The other thing that I do is I go ahead, obviously, and make my copies for the day, but I go ahead and count out how many I need for each class, plus some extras. And this helps with when you have those few stragglers that come in late or get added to your class late or whatever. And something that I do is I put a sticky note on it that tells me how many is in the stack. And that might sound a little OCD, but I like having that on there because I know immediately when I look at it how many is in this pile. I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people that will count a stack of papers like 5 times. So I count it one time, I put the sticky on top and say, okay, there's 30 in this pile. Now, I only have 27 kids in this class. But if all of a sudden, all my desks are full, that's 30 kids, I know I need to hand out every single one of these papers. I'm not going to have any extras left over. On the flip side, if I have a smaller class, like one of my classes right now is looking like it's going to be about 16 kids. So I made 18 copies. If for some reason that number jumped to, let's say, 20, and I can look at that stack before class even starts and say, okay, I only have 18 copies. I can go run really fast and make 2 more and have exactly what I need. So I think the sticky note is just a good thing to kind of help you figure out numbering and stuff. Also, if you're like me, I get excited to print things and make copies, and then I realize I've made mistakes. So for instance, on this one, I printed them before I actually made my Remind classes. And so when I went in to make my Remind classes, the tag at the end that I wanted to use, it's already being used. So I've already printed my copies. So what I will do is I make a note to myself saying, remember when you pass this out, tell them to change this. Because if I don't put that on there, I'm not going to remember to tell them to change it.
Mr. Pomeroy, would you come back to the office, please?
And they'll sign up for the wrong class and Remind. So, same thing here. So this is my syllabus. I've started doing a visual syllabus. I like the pie charts. I like dividing it up. I think when people, including parents, see giant blocks of text, they're not very likely to look at it or read it. So here's some things I have on it. I have my contact information, my planning period. I have my grading scale that I use for the class. I have the, excuse me, the grading scale that the school uses to figure out their grade. I have a little welcome section. I have a supplies section. I have a section about the English 2 EOC exam. A section about Remind. A section about how to stay up to date for the class, like what sites to use. And then a section about buying a novel that my honors class will be reading online if the kids want a paper copy. And then on the back, I have just course assignments. And this one's still kind of blocky with text, but I like kind of letting parents know what's going to happen throughout the semester. So this one says, here's the things we're going to read this semester, and how long the unit is roughly. I mean, this can change, so it's just kind of good to know. It talks about how we're going to do vocab, so parents know right off the bat we're doing vocab every week, and to start looking for that list and reminding them to study. I tell them about how we're going to write 3 essays, and this is my honors class. We're going to write 3 essays, what the essays are going to be about, that we're going to do a rough draft and a final copy, and then a little bit about reading assignments, about how I'm going to try to give you time to read during class. I try to give them 2 days at least to do a reading, but sometimes you're going to have to read outside of class, and sometimes you're going to have a lot of reading to do. So just something to get parents prepared and kids prepared. So that's my syllabus. And then this sheet is literally just the blank handout that they're going to fill out and turn back into me. And it says stuff like, did you sign up for a Remind? This is parent information. Did the parents sign up for Remind? Do you have internet access at home? Which I think is a really big deal. I even have a place that says sometimes, because sometimes kids are in one place that has it and one place that doesn't. So I like to know that. And then I also have a section for both the parent and the student that says, which of the following items do you think you will need help with this year? And I have things down here that say writing, completing training and assignments, motivation, studying, taking tests and quizzes, reading comprehension, grammar, spelling, and then other. And I like that because I like to see, as a class, if every single person puts that they need help with studying, then that means I need to spend a little time in class going over studying techniques. If everybody puts that they have trouble with writing, then maybe our writing unit needs to be a little bit longer. So I like to kind of look at that and see what people are thinking. Of course, sometimes people don't circle anything, and of course, sometimes parents circle everything, which is fine. It's just kind of a quick, informal way for me to see where everybody thinks they might be at. And then there's a spot, of course, at the bottom for parents to write things, and a whole blank back if they wanted to write me an essay. And trust me, I've had an essay before. Also, I don't know if you've ever seen one of these, so I'm going to show you. So here, I have this little divider, and it's labeled second block, third block, fourth block. I have a place for homeroom, and then I have a place for things that I need to copy, and I just store everything over there. So I don't have big piles of paper sitting around on my desk, and it helps me. I can get ahead of things. Okay, I'm going to explain everything that I do on the first day. Keep in mind this is high school, and yeah. So, the very first thing is I stand out in the hallway on the first day, especially because kids are lost and they need help finding rooms and stuff. And also when the kid comes up and goes, "Is this Miss Bowman?" I get to go, "Yes." And that kind of helps their anxiety and stuff. So that's the first thing. As they come in the door, I hand them this worksheet, which is a beginning of school survey that I got. Jessica Osborne. I'm sure I got it from Teachers Pay Teachers. And it just has some questions like here's who I live with, here are my best friends, these are my electives, here's things I do outside of school. And then it has some questions about like classes and stuff, which I found super interesting last semester when I did. So it said, when I do homework or study at home, I like for the room to be like, and they fill it in. I can read with music or noise around me, true or false. This is how I feel about reading. This is the part I really loved. This is what a teacher did last year that I really liked. This is what a teacher did last year that upset or bothered me. And then describe your favorite teacher of any year and why they were your favorite. I found this super helpful, especially because I had one class that they all said, "I hate when a teacher plays music." Because they had somebody last year that played music and they couldn't get any work done. So that was really helpful to me because sometimes I do like to play music. So I made sure for that class I didn't, and it was good. Something they would like to learn, things like that. Things you should know about me, whatever. So simple sheet. They fill this out while they're getting in, and I do have their assigned seats up on the board. Now, here's what I will tell you. I have never done assigned seats on the first day. Never. Because I like to see who they're going to go and sit with already in the class. Because I can make some mental notes and say, "Oh, those two cannot be together. Oh, those two cannot be together." Because, you know, when you make your seating chart for the first day, it's kind of a crapshoot unless you specifically know about people. So, it's fine. I decided to bite the bullet, and I have made a seating chart for the first day. We'll see how it goes, but if I don't like it, I'm going to go back to the regular way. So, there's that. they come in, find their seat, they get started on the survey. While they're working on the survey, I do attendance. And I do attendance by, I'm going to walk around and I'm going to talk to each kid. Because they're already in a specific assigned seat. So I can take attendance by looking at that. But I'm going to ask them to say their name. And then I'm going to say it back to them. See if they want to go by something different. Make sure I'm pronouncing it right. Write it on my sheet. Check them off. Done. I think it's better than doing that. Calling people out in front of the class, humiliating them, whatever. Because especially if like your name, if you go by Bob and your name on there is like Gabrielle or something, like they really get humiliated. Also, I find this really helps with if you have any transgender students in your room that you don't know about. When you come up and say, what would you like to be called? They can tell you. And you don't have to humiliate them in front of your class by calling them the wrong thing. So that's just my way of doing it. And immediately then we're going to get started. So whether they finish the survey or not, I start with my intro PowerPoint. So I've made a funny PowerPoint that has some stuff about me. It has some things about my class, stuff like that. It's got memes and things because I'm that teacher. So we do that PowerPoint, and that takes a good deal of the class, but I've tried to cut myself down because I used to talk a lot, which can you imagine? Then I pass out the syllabus and that course assignment sheet that I showed you earlier. We talk about it really briefly because they can read. I give them the info sheet that I want them to fill out and bring back home. I tell them to immediately put it in their book bag somewhere safe. Do not start writing on it because we have other things that we need to do because they'll start filling it out. And then we play Scoot. So let me tell you how Scoot works. So I stole this idea from somewhere. I think it was in elementary school. They had this thing where they played Scoot, and they did it for math, I think. I was like, I could totally do that for English. It'd be great. So here's what happens. The kids are sitting in groups, and I set a timer for 2 minutes, and each group is a question. So for this one, it's just a getting to know you question. So it gets them talking with their group, all that good stuff. So they are with their group. They answer the question. The timer goes off for 2 minutes. I yell, Scoot, and they pick up their paper and they go to the next question. I will tell you the reason I love this for high schoolers. High schoolers are really bad about getting to a place and sitting down and doing nothing, or also talking and getting off topic, and also taking extremely long to do something. Once you put that timer on it, you are telling them this is how much time you're going to get and you need to finish. So I like it because it pushes them. Some of my math friends have tried it in their math classes and they said it works good. And I have also done it we do it for vocab, we do it for review, all those good things. So I really like it. So you'll see that. And then I'm going to, if we have some time, I'll coach them through signing up for Remind, manually sign some in if I need to, and have them turn in the survey and the questions that they did for Scoot. And just at the end, because that's probably all the time we're going to have, I'll remind them, bring the supplies that you need on Monday, because this is cool because Friday's the first day, which means they have a weekend to get the supplies and we get to get started on Monday. So bring your supplies for Monday. Make sure you bring back this info sheet. Make sure you and your parents sign up for Remind. Done. First day. Done. Do it 3 times. So, excuse me. For me, that's how I like to do the first day. I like to keep it kind of light. Every single class is going over the rules and stuff. So I try to do something like the Scoot to get them up and moving around. Have the memes for a couple laughs. But I am pretty strict on the first day because I find that you can always chill out and get lax, but you can't really get stricter. And I know that's one of those things they tell you in school and you're like, but I think it's kind of true. So I'm going to try to be pretty strict on the first day, especially since I have a couple classes that I've been warned have behavior problems, and hopefully it'll be a great first day. Let me show you my desks so you can see how I have set it up for success. So as you can see, I have groups, like, groups of 4. And then I have things like this. 2 desks by themselves. And then in the back, which they have crates on them right now, but 2 more desks by themselves. So even though I have groups, I still have some special seats for special people. At the back here, I have a very big 6-person group, and obviously this seat is backwards. So here's what I will say. I don't actually plan on anybody sitting in that seat. I have more desks than I have children. Usually I'll have a group of girls that are really quiet and work really hard, and they can handle a big group like this. And also, if I happen to be doing work with a group, I like this big group. I can sit right here in this backwards desk and talk to everybody. So that is my desk setup. Most everything else in my room is the same. I did change this board because it said graduation project, and I don't have seniors anymore. So now it just says information. It was going to say information station, but I didn't have enough letters to spell out station, of course. So it just says information. So I have a lot of things to do to get ready. Not really, but I feel like I need to. So I'm going to go, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.